on ABC Gold Coast.
Where's the planning gone? What we need is a bus service increased. We need it now. There are petitions for people to sign. We need the Transport Minister to find another bus transport company to deliver those services because Kinetic aren't doing it.
Oh, he is not happy with the service provider on the Gold Coast. That's the member for Coomera, Michael Crandon. He's my guest in just a moment.
Burn Young on ABC Gold Coast.
And I am asking you this morning, do you or members of your family catch the bus? What's the experience like? 1300 903 917. Do the school kids in your household get to school on time every time? Text line is 0487 993 222. Michael Crandon is the state member for Coomera. His constituents are not happy with the bus service at that end of the coast. I'll get to what Kinetic are saying about this. We did ask them to appear on the program, but they've given us a statement instead. First, we're joined by Michael Crandon. Morning to you.
Good morning. How are you? Good morning, listeners.
Now, a pensioner in your area has started this petition.
That's right.
Tell me about them and what they're asking for.
Well, Jill is the petitioner in this particular case, and Jill's situation is that she catches the bus each week or twice a week to go to Gold Coast University Hospital to volunteer. She went through a process or a period of time where the bus simply wasn't turning up. She'd ring Kinetic. Where is it? Oh, it's on the way. It won't be long. But no, it wasn't even ever coming because the bus was actually going in the wrong direction. It was missing three bus stops, hers being one of them, on its route. So it had, taken the wrong turn. And goodness gracious, she also jumped on the bus on a Saturday morning to go to Ormo train station, and the bus turned right and was heading back to Beenleigh railway station. She had to direct the bus driver. So that's Jill's.
So Jill's telling the bus driver where the bus usually goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jill was directing the bus driver to get the bus driver to the train station that she travels to. She uses the bus 5 days a week, and very regularly she was just not getting there. And of course, that meant that there was another 1 hour before the next bus came. And in Jill's case, that was impossible. She needed to be at Gold Coast University Hospital as a volunteer at a particular time, 8:30 in the morning, and she was just trying to get to the bus stop. Couldn't afford taxis, but then again, taxis on the northern Gold Coast are another issue.
Yeah, okay.
Time.
I'm going to stick to one issue, which is buses.
Yeah.
Now, this could sound like, this is one person experiencing one problem, but I can put my hand up and say that I've had several times recently, and we're on the Gold Coast Highway. My children are catching the bus on a bus route that is, you would think, far more likely to be regular. And they'll ring me and say, Mum, I'm going to be late for school. I've been sitting at the bus stop since 8:15 and I still haven't caught a bus to school. I'm thinking, how could we go for half an hour without our bus? To be honest with you, Michael, I'm too busy to ring Kinetic and make a complaint. I bet there's a bunch of people on the Gold Coast who just go, you know what, I didn't get the bus today. And maybe they're not even hearing the full extent of the issue. What can be done about it?
Okay, well, I've done a few things. The first thing that I've done is I've written to the Minister. I've got a question on notice into the Minister, asking the Minister for all of the cancelled bus service details each week for the last 4 years. So the 721, 722, 728, 7229 bus services, I want to know how many times those bus services have been cancelled, because you're quite right. The only services that the Kinetic admitted to were the ones that I was able to identify. I rang them up and said, look, I've got video of your bus driver going in the wrong direction. What's going on here? They would only admit to the ones that I was able to point to. They weren't admitting to more regular cancellations or wrong directions of buses. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I'm running a petition. I want people to go online and sign the petition, because the funding has been there from the Gold Coast City Council for 2 years and the state government since June last year. The funding has been there to upgrade the bus services on the Northern Gold Coast. Of the 5 bus services that we've been promised, they've only upgraded 2 of them. That's only 40% of them. The money's sitting there, but Kinetic aren't able to deliver the services.
On that point, and this brings us to what Kinetic are saying, I did invite someone from Kinetic to join us on the program. Instead, they gave us a statement, some of which says driver availability as a result of a nationwide labour shortage and above average absenteeism from illness has resulted in impacts to some route services across the city. Traffic congestion and other factors can also result in delays. We apologise for any inconvenience to passengers and parents, as we are committed to maintaining reliable public transport for the community. I'll just read on. More than 80 new bus drivers have been recruited by Kinetic on the Gold Coast and Tweed in previous months, with another 7 drivers now joining the team on the Northern Gold Coast. Another 20 bus drivers will also commence training next week. So I know you're talking about that funding being there, Michael Crandon, member for Coomera, but if you've got the funding and you haven't got the drivers, you can't put the extra services on. Is that a good enough excuse from Kinetic?
No, it's not a good enough excuse. There's 2 points that I want to make there. First of all, there are 2 other bus services that could be contracted. I haven't spoken to them, but there are 2 other bus services, the Logan bus service, Logan City bus service, and the Yatala bus service, buses, who could be contracted to run some of those services on the far northern Gold Coast. But the reality is that if they're saying that it's taken all of this time, they've known since June last year the funding was going to be there, why haven't they been properly prepared? Why haven't they gone out earlier to get those bus services? And this is the final point. Why would you cancel bus services, the first bus service and the last bus service, on a service that's only running every hour? Why wouldn't you reduce the level of service on one that's running every 15 minutes and deploy those bus drivers to the Northern Gold Coast, so that at least the Northern Gold Coast has got something instead of nothing?
Well, they're questions I can't answer, Michael Crandon, but Kinetic could and perhaps will in time. As I said, I've invited them on the program, but we got a statement instead. Thank you for joining me on Breakfast this morning.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Member for Coomera, Michael Crandon. What's your experience with the bus service? It could be on the Northern Gold Coast, where Michael Crandon's constituents are. Maybe it's elsewhere along the bus routes.